everybody? We are back. It is your man, Mr. Daniel Wiafe, and I actually have a special guest for this YouTube video or iTunes audio or however you're listening to this. I have one of my good friends and one of my students, Mr. Brian Stenart from Tulsa, Oklahoma. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, I'm good. I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. Blessed and never stressed. So, all right. So, I have to ask you a few questions. You don't mind, do you?
Not at all.
All right. So you recently quit your job. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So what led you to quit your job, Brian?
Wholesaling, real estate.
Wholesaling.
Just being able to, being able to just step it up and really just, I did it part-time while I had a full-time job. And, but I just had to make the decision to finally, I was making enough money to be able to just quit the job and be able to put more time into the business. So it's been awesome so far. It's been great.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And I was really stoked, Brian, because I know that for I think maybe 2 or 3 months previous to that, I kept on telling you, Brian, you got to quit your job and you got to focus on this full time, right?
Right. Yep.
And you're like, Daniel, no, I can't do it. The wife, well, she wasn't your wife back then. She was your fiance. But
yep.
I know that you definitely wanted to make sure that everything was secure because you guys were planning on getting married. And so tell us, Brian, what happened to actually make you push the button on actually quitting your job and going full time into wholesaling?
I credit a lot to, of course, the number one thing I credit everything to is Jesus, my Lord and Savior. But beyond that, the second to that is really my wife. She has been 100% for me, and and guys need encouragement, and she's my favorite cheerleader. So she's always encouraging me, always pushing me. So it was almost a passion for her just as much, if not more than me, for me to quit my job. So I credit a lot to her to being able to get to that point, to actually, pulling the trigger and saying, you can do this. You've done enough deals. You know what you're doing. You can pull the trigger and actually quit your job and do this full time. So
awesome. And the Bible does say when a man finds a wife, he finds a what?
Finds a good thing.
A good thing. That is right. Yep. A very good thing. And so
that's right.
And so, Ryan, I remember back when you were in our Facebook group and you put down a post and you had emailed me off some crazy checks, some pictures. Do you remember that?
I do.
All right. So how much were those 2 checks for? Because I think it was right around July 4th, wasn't it?
It was. It was. Yeah, there were. One was for, I believe, $3,750, and the other one was $13,250.
Okay, so repeat those amounts again.
It was $3,750.
Mm-hmm.
And $13,250.
Got it. And so basically, you made about I don't have a calculator on me, but that's about $16,000-$17,000 right there. And you made that in the span of a couple weeks?
A couple weeks, yep.
Okay. And then previous to that, what did you do?
Previous to that, I had a deal that I did for $7,000.
Okay.
And
Go ahead. Don't let me stop you. Don't let me stop the train.
Yeah, that was at that point. That was all I've done per the year. Now I've got one in set for closing. Got one set for closing. Hopefully we'll close next week. I'll make $10,500, and I've got a couple contracts that I recently got this week. So I'm trying to get those sold too.
Awesome. And how much do you think you are going to potentially make on those couple contracts that you just recently got?
I think they aren't great deals. So hopefully, I like to make around $4,000 or $5,000 on them. on those.
Nice. A piece or altogether?
A piece. Yeah, a piece. 4,000 or 5,000 a piece. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So, I mean, look, Brian, some people are listening to this video, and if they were to close 2 deals a month, okay, that would change your life, okay? So, I mean, if they're to be able to get in their market wherever they're at, whether it's Raleigh, North Carolina, or Dallas, Texas, or California, or Phoenix, Arizona, or wherever they're at, 2 deals a month at $4,000 or $5,000 a pop would generate them $8,000 to $10,000 a month, and that would change their life. And
absolutely,
would you say that that's changed your life?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not only just financially, but, being able to enjoy life more. I was not enjoying my life. I did not enjoy my time when I was at my job, working at a cubicle and every day was not fun for me. I always had a passion in my heart just to have my own business and kind of do my own thing. So that's one of the greatest benefits that I'm enjoying right now, is just to be able to just, not have a full-time job, not have a boss telling me what to do, and not having to show up to work and letting them know when I can and can't take off for holidays or whatnot. So.
Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, Brian, what you found was freedom.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely.
So did you ever watch Braveheart, the movie with Mel Gibson?
I did.
Do you remember
Absolutely.
that? Do you remember that part where he did that scream? He was like, "Freedom!"
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right. Yep. Hey, can you give us a quick Mel Gibson scream? Because I know you're not in your cubicle now, okay? So can you give us like a quick freedom?
Freedom!
Oh man, that was awesome. That was awesome, man. I give you an A+ on that, dude. I give you an A+ on that. So look, I mean, at the end of the day, Brian, it is crazy because no matter who I talk to, at the end of the day, when people start their own business and they decide on becoming entrepreneurs, and let me not say they decide on becoming entrepreneurs, I believe that a person that is an entrepreneur, for the most part, he or she is naturally born as an entrepreneur, because you have to have a certain wiring about you to become an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And so that freedom, you guys and gals who are listening to this, it allows you so many things. Okay. As Brian was saying, my man was stuck in a cubicle. He was, what was your JOB? Tell us a little bit about what your JOB entailed.
I was a claims adjuster for State Farm Insurance, and so it was a 5-day a week, 40-hour a week job, 5 days a week, and it was a lot of changes in the company and things like that. I won't go into detail, but I mean, it was just corporate world to a T, and how things have changed. And it's not like it was back in the 60s and 70s where corporations really cared for their employees. Those days are long gone, in my opinion. But it was just corporate politics, and not only that, just it was a stressful environment. On the phone all the time, and you're sitting in a chair, and that was just not for me.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine that when people are calling in wanting to put in claims, some of them probably weren't the most polite, were they?
No, I mean, naturally, you're not going to be in a great mood when you're filing a claim, or you're talking about a claim, or you're talking to an insurance adjuster, or you can think of a lot better things to do with your time. So naturally, people are not going to be in a good mood, especially when you're talking about someone's, you're dealing with somebody's car, somebody's house, somebody's life, and you're talking about money. It can get pretty stressful, and people can get pretty mad and angry. So.
Oh yeah, and I can totally understand that. Back in the day, I used to be a telemarketer, and I never did anything with insurance on the phones. But yeah, doing a lot of inbound calls, it can wear down on you over time. And so the one thing that I was very, very impressed, and I was very glad for you, Brian, was that I know you said that things weren't the way they were back in the 60s and 70s. For those of you guys who don't know Brian, he's not that old. He is just turned 30 this July or August.
Yep.
Is that correct?
June.
June.
At the end of June.
at the end of June.
There you
Okay. And he just got married in, was it June or July?
go. November. So next month is 1 year anniversary.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you had recently got married. So you got married when you were 29.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. And then you declared your freedom, your Independence Day, around Independence Day this year.
That's absolutely. It was. I think it was June 1st. No, July 1st. I think was my last day. So, and right after that, we went on a nice vacation to Seattle, Washington, and visited a bunch of my wife's family. And so we got to celebrate Independence Day with my independence of the job.
My man, my man. And look, everybody, that's what it's all about, okay? It's all about you getting your freedom and being able to do what you want to do, okay? Brian was able to take his wife back home to see her family, okay, spend some time up in Seattle, okay? I'll forgive him for not visiting me down in Las Vegas. No, actually, we were down in Florida, weren't we, during that time period? I think
so. Yes, that would. Well, a little bit before that, I think it was the June year in Florida. I couldn't end up meeting you down there because I had an event that came up that it was impossible to change. But yeah, I think you're in Florida around that time.
Okay. So look, I mean, so even though he couldn't be 2,500 miles away with us in Florida, we were doing an event down there, a 3-day event down in Fort Lauderdale, Miami. I just love the fact that the guy was able to just do what he wanted to do. And at the end of the day, you guys, we are all adults. We're not kids anymore. We shouldn't have to rely on other adults telling us what to do, okay? Because, I mean, especially for those of you guys who have kids. I have a child, he's going to turn 7 next month, and I couldn't imagine feeling like I'm a 7-year-old being told what to do, where to go, that, hey, you must be here by 8 o'clock a.m., Monday through Friday. Otherwise, we're going to give you points. And if you accumulate too many points, we're going to can you, okay? That's no way to live life, okay? And I have a friend, a good friend, and he always tells me that life is meant for the living, okay? Live your life freely, okay? Get your independence, all right? So, Brian, let's get into the nuts and bolts of things. How are you finding your deals for the most part?
My number one source for finding deals is just good old fashioned yard signs.
All right,
putting them out.
Awesome. How do you do your bandit signs? So pretend like I'm a newbie, okay? Matter of fact, don't even pretend like I'm a newbie. Pretend like there are 300, 400 newbies listening to this video, okay? Which there will be. Give them Brian Stenart's quick start plan on getting business and using bandit signs / yard signs to get sellers calling their phone.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of different opinions out there on what size and what to say, but I'll just give you what I do. I just use my go-to is it's a 18 by 24 core plastic sign. It's yellow. I love yellow, and I love black lettering. I pre-print them. Some people, you can get them blank and handwrite it to save a little money, but I have them pre-printed up, and I've used a couple different wordings, but basically, I buy houses and fast, easy cash, any condition, and put your virtual number on there with whatever you've got, Google Voice, Vumber, Call Rail, and just have it go straight to voicemail. And like anything with marketing, it's a numbers game. So you want to really purchase a lot of signs and put out as many as you can. I would recommend at least, at the very minimum, 50 a weekend. And then when you start getting tons of calls and you start getting tons of leads, and eventually you close your first deal, I would recommend taking a majority of that and putting it right back into marketing, and just continuing to focus on bandit signs. And if you get to the point where you don't want to put them out anymore, or you want to put out more and you can't do it, then I highly recommend paying someone to help you put them out. That's what I started doing, and it's been great.
Okay. Now, we were just talking about this before we got on this call. So
Yeah.
This is the part where you make my head a little bit big, okay? Because sometimes my self-esteem gets a little bit low, all right? So this is a time where, Brian, you are my therapist and you boost up my self-esteem, all right? What did you take from me? What did you take away from me when it came to your bandit sign marketing?
It was just a couple of weeks ago. We were talking via email or something, and you just, you asked me what my business looked like, how many deals am I doing, and I said, well, I've done this many deals, and I'd like to get more consistent and things like that. And you said something simple, but you just said, well, just continue to put out more signs, but also make sure something along the lines of make sure you also stay consistent and slowly ramp up your signs, something like that. Something I've heard before a million times, and I know, but it was just one of those things like, just needed someone else to just tell me that. And then I just started doing that. So I ordered a more signs than I've been buying. I put an ad on Craigslist to find someone to help me put out the signs, and found someone great. So that he puts them in awesome spots, and he's a great guy. Anyway, just doing that alone has eased up so much time for me. And my phone's been just ringing off the hook with him help me putting out signs. Because in a week, normally I put out 50 a weekend, but with some help, in a span of a week, I had 200 out there. And my phone just absolutely it just melted with people calling. So I've just been making calls all week off those leads. So it's awesome. And I've got, hundreds of other signs coming in the mail. I think they should arrive tomorrow. So I'm just going to continue focusing on bandit signs right now because they're working.
I love it. And who gave you the instruction to get somebody to help you put out those signs?
That would be Melinda Wiafe.
Okay. I was waiting for him to say that would be the ninja.
The ninja, yep. Right.
And and I mean, it's one of those things, you guys and gals that are listening to this, all joking aside, when you're building a business. So, okay, look, Brian was a claims adjuster for State Farm, okay? And, he probably brought in good money, but he was stuck in a cubicle all day. He was working, okay? He wants to enjoy time. He wants to go spend time with his wife, go fishing, go do whatever, okay? And that's fine. Life is for the living. And so in his business, okay, and in your business, you who are watching this, you need to be able to automate and delegate your business. And when it comes to automation, you need to find systems which allow you to automate the things that you do on a daily basis in your business, okay? That makes it easier, okay? So if there's software out there, use the software, okay? If it's CRM systems like keeping track of leads, use those leads, okay? If you're mailing postcards out, don't do it manually. Use a system like Click-to-Mail to automatically send your postcards out, okay? And what Brian did was he did the delegation part, which is he delegated the work to somebody else, okay? And how much are you paying the gentleman to put out the signs for you, Brian, if you don't mind me asking?
I pay him $1.20 a sign.
Okay, so you pay him.
I probably get away with paying somebody $1 sign, but I pay him $1.20 sign. So,
Okay, cool. Now, did you have him put out all 200 signs, or did you do like 100 and he did 100, or how did you do that?
He put out basically the very first time I printed out a little map and kind of gave him where I wanted the signs, and first gave him 50 signs and said, hey, here's where I want the signs, things like that. And he happened to know the area very well, and which is a qualification I was looking for. And, from there, he just kind of ran with it, and came back and next time we got 100 more signs and started throwing out ideas to me, where to put the signs here. I know a high traffic place, and things like that. So no, he didn't put out 200 at once, but in a span of about a week and a half or a week, he did put out all 200.
Ah, got it. Was he doing it like on the weekends, or did he break it up into a daily basis when he was putting up the signs?
Yeah, basically he did them whenever he had he has a full-time job, I think, in the morning, and he gets off mid-afternoon. So he would do them after rush hour and then into the night. So he would probably start around 8 p.m., but he did it during the weekday. He did some during the weekend, but it just depended. I mean, I didn't mind if he put them up during the weekday either. So.
Okay, good deal. And so you said that your phone melted with calls about, and I know I'm putting you on the spot, about how many calls a day do you think you're getting approximately now?
When I had all 200 of them out there, I think I was probably getting around 15 to 20 calls a day.
Wow, 15 to 20 calls a day.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, because I've done a lot, and I put out 50 signs, and you know what I mean. You just get trickle. The calls are just trickle in, but when you just put out a ton of signs, I don't know. It's amazing. So 15 to 20 a day, and that just didn't happen one day. I mean, it was just going on for a long while. You know, it's starting to slow down now. Obviously, the signs get taken down, different things like that, but. It's been pretty crazy.
That is amazing. And I mean, look, a person gets 15 to 20 calls a day on average. Let's just say it's 15 calls. Okay. During the span of a week, I don't have a calculator on me, but that's 105 calls in a 7-day period, I believe. It's virtually impossible for you to not do deals. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I know back when I was actively putting out bandit signs, typically for every 25 to 35 calls that I would get, I would typically be able to lock up a deal on the contract, okay? And it's really a numbers game, okay? And so, I mean, if you're generating that many leads, it's impossible for you to not close deals. And let me ask you this. Do you have any potential plans on becoming a realtor or doing lease options or any of that to add to your repertoire?
I probably won't get a realtor's license, but I might definitely will look into lease options and things like that once I kind of get wholesaling automated. That's kind of my plans there. I just want to focus on wholesaling right now and not get distracted on any other niches. But once I kind of get that going and that automated, things like that, then I will kind of look into other niches.
Okay, sweet. And so let me ask you this. I know back when I was living in Tulsa, and I've known you for, how long have we known each other, Brian? What, about 7 years?
Since 2000. Yeah, I think we first met up in 2011, I think.
2011. Okay. Yeah. You know what? You're right. It was about 2010, 2011. So I've known you for about 5-6 years, and you've always been a hard worker. And I'm really glad that you're putting out these $1 million principles, because somebody who is listening to this is going to take this and run, and they're going to make an incredible amount of money. And you don't need to do the hard work, okay? Initially, yeah, you may have to put out the signs yourself, but eventually you graduate to a system where you just hire somebody to do it. And let me ask you this, Brian, how do you make sure that your sign guy is actually putting out the signs and not dumping your signs in the garbage?
I have him take a photo of each sign that he puts out. I know there's an app out there that people use. I haven't used it before. That people, it automatically snap a picture and it plops a little GPS little dot so you can see exactly where they put it. I don't use that. I have him take a picture of each sign that he puts out, and then at the end, he'll just email me the photos, and I'll look at them and before I pay him. So, and that's at the very beginning when you kind of don't know the person and things like that. But not saying you got to do that forever. Eventually, I think you can get to the point where I just I'm kind of I just kind of trust people more, until they prove that they're not trustworthy. And plus, I mean, I'm driving around town. I'm seeing my own signs. My dad even called me. He said, "Is this your sign? It says this. It's this color." And I was like, "That's my sign." And so I know they're out there. And but that's how I've been doing it at the beginning. I have them take a picture of every single sign and send it to me. So I know it's a lot of photos, but that's what I do at the beginning.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I mean, you're getting calls, obviously. So obviously, signs are getting put out, and definitely you're checked on him on the beginning when you didn't really have that relationship with him. And the one thing I would suggest is, you'll have a trusting relationship with him. Just do your Q&A, your quality assurance with him. So from time to time, just make sure you obviously get out there and into those areas. If you guys are putting out signs, which I highly recommend you do, check and make sure that your signs are being put out there. So that's definitely one way you can make sure that people are doing what they say they're doing. And so what I'll do is, I don't know off the top of my head what the name of that app is that people use to geo-target the sign.
Crew?
Yes, it is. Thank you. It's Simple Crew. Good job.
Yep.
Good job. It is Simple Crew, okay? And so all this information, like the Simple Crew app, I'm going to put the link in the description underneath this YouTube video. And I'm also going to give you guys that are watching this a template of the Craigslist ad that I suggest that you use to find somebody to place your sign. So I'm not sure, Brian, did you use my template or did you make up your own template?
I did. I took out a couple things, but for the most part, I used the exact template that you gave me.
Okay, sweet. So you guys, the template that I gave Brian, you can get it underneath the description of this video. And like Brian did, just make it your own. Okay, so I won't get mad at you.
The one thing I did, I mean, you will get tons of. I wouldn't recommend you put your phone number on there. I recommend just having people email you. I didn't have it up at 12 hours, and I'd get probably 20 plus emails, and I had to take it down. So I just basically, whoever emailed me and their email looked the most professional, that was literally the first person I called, and that's the guy I ended up hiring, and he's been awesome so far. So
okay, great. And so, I mean, definitely with your Craigslist ads, I've put out job ads before, and I've gotten hundreds of people that emailed. And it's always crazy when you put out gigs on Craigslist or even jobs. And definitely when the people come on board, make sure that they are 1099, so they're not employees, they're contractors, number one. And then number two, and this is something that I didn't give you, so my apologies, Brian, but make them sign a disclaimer sheet or whatnot that would absolve you from being responsible should they get into a traffic accident or something to that effect. Because we live in a pretty litigious society, and so people will sue you. And so you definitely have to protect yourself. So, matter of fact, I'll get you a sheet if you need me. So, my apologies. I forgot to give you that.
No,
but
you're good.
Definitely, you guys, if you're gonna get somebody to contract to put out the signs, make sure you protect yourself at all costs. And also, be slow to hire, but quick to fire. Okay. And what that means is make sure that when you bring somebody on board who is going to be your contractor or work for you, that you take enough time to do due diligence on them. Okay. And make sure that they're going to be somebody that's going to last for you. Okay. But if somebody starts tripping, if somebody starts slipping, if somebody starts acting crazy, be very quick to let them go, because at the end of the day, they are going to cost you money, grief, and drama. Okay. And what else? So what is next on Brian's plan for taking over Oklahoma?
Just continuing to just do signs. just continue to do more and more signs in other areas of Tulsa. Just to continue to try to get as many leads as I can, and just continuing also to build relationships with buyers and things like that. That's always important, to continuing to your buyers list is an ongoing process. So just continuing to do that on a regular basis is what I'm going to continue to do. And then eventually, of course, I'll do direct mail. I've done direct mail before in the past and things like that. So eventually I'm going to do that. I just want to be laser focused on one marketing channel and stay dedicated to that, rather than kind of tiptoeing and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So get this focused and delegated, so that's automatic, and then I can kind of start with something else.
Very, very wise. Very, very wise. So get laser focused on your one marketing channel. And then once you have that running on autopilot and you have it running like $1 million machine, you start adding different marketing channels. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this is true with any business, you guys. The thing that brings many people down is they get focused. Well, they try to get focused on doing bandit signs, on doing direct mail, on doing websites, on doing Google AdWords, on doing this and that, and they get all convoluted, okay? And make sure that you become a master of that one marketing stream, and then jump to another marketing stream and add it to your arsenal. And definitely, if you are doing bandit signs, you guys, I would ask you guys to make sure that eventually, once you do get that master, you do add something on there, just in case, because at the end of the day, bandit signs are technically code violations, okay? And so if something were to happen where you get in trouble with the city or whatnot, you definitely want to make sure that that does not make your $1 million empire crumble, okay? But make sure if you're doing 100, 200 bandit signs a week, then you should be good to go, okay, in most cities. Stay away from high dollar areas when you're doing bandit signs. Definitely keep them to middle income areas and possibly low income areas, as long as it's not war zone. So if bullets fly around like mosquitoes fly around during the summertime, you want to stay away from those areas, right?
That's right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Right. Brian said, I stay away from those places. So, so Brian, I'll let you go, but if you could give one piece of advice that is gold to somebody who is a new or struggling wholesaler, what advice would you give them?
The one, I guess I give you two here. One I already given, just find a marketing channel that you want to do and stay laser focused on that, rather than tiptoeing into different marketing channels. Go all out on one marketing channel. Another piece of advice, if you haven't done your first deal and you do your first deal, keep a majority of that, if not all of that, and just put it right back into your business. To keep your momentum going is what I would recommend. That's been a huge thing to me. I mean, when I've done these deals, I take very little out for me, and just enough that I need, and then I put a majority right back into marketing and everything else I need for my business.
All right. Well, there you go. So we got that from Mr. Braveheart himself, Brian Stenart. He is killing it. We're proud of you, my man. You're doing awesome things. And if somebody was wanting to reach out to you and do deals with you or network with you, how would they get in contact with you?
Yeah, they can reach out to me on my Facebook. Just search my name, Brian Stanart, Stanart. Or you can always email me. It's my last name, Stanart, and then it's property solutions with an S on the end at gmail.com. That's probably the best way just to reach out to me. Just send me an email. Glad to connect with you.
Sweet. So Stanart Property Solutions at gmail.com. Stanart Property Solutions at gmail.com. So, all right. Well, thank you, Brian, and for being on this call, and much success to you.
Thanks for having me.
All right.